Ruh-roh, Rorge.
All right.
That is an awful, awful plane path. That is one of the worst you could possibly have here in this game. It is just brutal how bad this one is, and we haven't had a Sosnovka finish yet, right?
Not exactly.
Yeah, not. I mean, it looked like we might, and then it didn't. And then, because it shifted back up to the north. But this one, maybe this is finally the time with a plane path like this, but a lot of teams not even going down there, so.
And I would like to see a circle on northeast. We haven't seen a circle on northeast at all, where we don't really see any teams. Sometimes like the Sun Sisters would like to go to Kameshki, but except for that, no other teams actually go towards that Yasnaya or top of Stalber at all.
Yeah,
so that would actually force a lot of crazy rotations.
Absolutely.
Harder for the players and the teams, but better for us.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm sorry. I just
no, you're fine. No. That's a great point to make. It's pretty funny. I've seen a lot of the casters from all the regions talk about this. How, as a player, I could specifically remember Godspeed talking about it this morning our time for NA, where he was saying, as a player, I loathed bad circles, but as a caster.
Oh, yes! And we're just going to get that Eastern Circle very heavily with that water.
But as a caster, we love these. We absolutely love these. And as fans, of course, they're so... What I like about this is I like to see what teams can do under pressure when they're put in bad situations. When the really good teams are forced to make tough decisions, critical, quick-thinking decisions. Now, there is a bit of a... Whoa, he catches one shot, does Lou. And that's going to be 40 damage as the parachuting Lambu does get down, and he should be A-okay because he's got that hill there.
Yeah, just running straight as this is something that you do have to think about. Okay, VLG just got to Rozhok, which means Genji, they're still in the air. What?
Uh-oh. That's one down already here. VLG loses Deva in the air. Good shooting from the 4 angry men. Oh, this is really, really a feels bad man for VLG. I think they did a really nice thing this tournament by moving to Rozhok because they could not win the battle for the apartments, and they're going to pay a little bit for it.
This is usually what happens when you're in the parachute, like the bullets just flying by. Getting that headshot, it's amazing. Gabi's been out of control in this tournament so far. So for Genji Tiamba just got the control in South George, also coming into the North George side. But Genji, Enonix just came down.
Uh-oh.
He's got to run, no gun.
Yeah, he's got no gun. There is the motorcycle here for Lin Shun. Gets right off and instantly downs Enonix. He is so strong right now. Through yesterday, you know, he was our top fragger, and he's showing you why right there. The guy has some skill and some guts.
For Genji, there's no reason to contest when you know Tiamba came down already, and the rest of the squad already not, of course, not in this area. They have moved in towards the eastern side. And after seeing the circle, you should already be moving towards that eastern side, knowing that they have been having hard rotations, and that's been giving a lot of problems for them this entire tournament, as they need to make this decision and change it on the fly.
Yeah, Tiamba just wants to be the biggest pest.
All the tires are gone.
He wants to get rid of everything just in case. It turns out nobody else from Genji is actually here, so this is all for naught. But that's okay. It's better safe than sorry. The rest of Genji is actually either, well, Pio's going towards Stalber, towards mini Stalber, or the phone Tanky now opening up into Dumbo. Decent damage done, no knock yet, but he's a little spread out from the rest of his team, and that's going to send him packing back a little bit. Ao watches him do this. He's got to be careful. Ao has a good angle. Ao needs one more shot to connect just in time. Ducking beneath the rock is Tanky.
And the squad is going to come in. It takes a huge shot directly. And with not much of a gear on both sides, I don't think they have too much vest or helmet to be ready, frankly. So, might just back out from this fight. There's no big reason to actually even stay this long on top of these rocks. There's also prison near there. There's mansion if they want to push into Lipovka, which is being controlled by K7 already. There are a few other compounds they can still look for. This is still very early into the game.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing kind of the consequences of all of the Asian teams, their desire to get so center so quick, especially on a hard shifted circle, that just amplifies that kind of meta that we're seeing here.
This is Lambu, early, don't come at me shot, I'm alone. And Genji does fall for the
Yeah,
trick.
But Loki's got a micro Uzi. And those of you that have been watching PUBG Esports this year, particularly Loki, know that when he has a micro Uzi, sometimes special things happen. I don't know if anything will come of it this time around, but that always kind of gets my attention when I see that gun in his hands.
Yeah, it's usually hard. And knowing after seeing that inventory down below, they're really poor. Did no looting, had no looting time basically. It's also the reason why he's having that Uzi. I think they want to go maybe all the way near Kameshki and then come all the way down later, playing that edge from that northern side, understanding that not many teams will be pushing from that northern side. I think that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, right now VLG is a little bit in the way. They've seen Genji moving, and they're kind of taking their time, making their way in, making sure the path in front of them is safe. Generally speaking, you'll see these teams, if they know they're a little later to the circle than a lot of the others, they'll try to be safe about it. Now, MCG has tried to make their way into Lipovka, and K7 is trying to pack it and run. That's not a good angle there. Oh my god, Sednan. If he gets out of this, it's going to be, I think, a little bit lucky, and he is going to do it, I think. Whoa. There was a chance there that he was done.
And that could have, he could have been gone. He could have been shut down immediately there, but only from few members, not the entire squad of MCG there. So luckily, K7 will be able to still maintain the full squad and gather up near these full houses.
Lockslock is on his own out here for K7, and 4AM is rolling in, and I think that's going to send him out. He doesn't want any... Oh my god!
Crazy!
What in the world is that? That is absolutely filthy. Goodness.
Yeah, sometimes K7, when there's not much land in the first circle, you do have to be careful. You can't really have 2-2 split. If you can cover each other, yes, that's good in the 2-2 splits. But if you cannot, like the split that K7 just had, other teams are going to dominate.
There is a code there, 6WSD7LUVYPVG.
Yes.
Nailed it, boom. That is our code. Go ahead and pop that in. You can, again, get that either on PC or console, whichever mode you prefer to play PUBG. GEX right into C's. The rest of Detonation Gaming White is trying to get where they can. It's going to be someone coming underneath C's here. C's backs off, does some decent damage to Leo. Yan Lee, excuse me, it might have been, I can't tell who that was hurt for GEX. They're kind of bouncing around a little quickly here, but C's thinking about going for the stun. Now, they've got to be careful because 4AM is kind of watching some of this fighting. Grenades exploding around GEX, but nothing really doing.
Yep, and they're okay with some reinforcement. Yan Lee's down below first floor. He's the only one. Rest of the squad actually at second floor. If forever 4AM's out in the far and with a lot of trees, I don't think they can get straight shots in. Detonation Gaming White. Is this finally time, or is it going to be just another big backup?
Well, I will say for Detonation Gaming White, they are a pretty good, like, close quarters combat team. That's kind of where I've seen them shine.
That's a good nade.
That's such a good grenade. Good timing there. Just cooked perfectly by Gokuris. That's going to be one down. Now they're going to try to come through. That's going to be one. It's a 2 for 2 so far here. Yan Lee stepping up. Finally sees it's going to get the knock on him. It's just Mao Ye left. Mao Ye upstairs trying to get the res onto Leo. It is going to come through, but that's going to lose 2 members of GEX to that. It is just Melifo and Gokuri down. Machao and C's trying to get it done. Now Machao, we haven't seen a lot from him this tournament. We've been told he's amazing. He is in Japan, but he's got to step up here for his team and win this battle.
And still with 2 members now. Actually, GEX coming on top, and just, DGW could not really find the perfect time to get the res. Either they just go for the res or go for the play. First, you have to just take him down and pin down second floor. I think that they needed to just take care of the 2 members. Say, I'm sorry, I just have to go for that play. That was the right call, but it's quite undecisive on if they wanted to go for that res or the big play.
Yeah, it was. I thought Detonation Gaming White was going to get it done, but they weren't able to. Ikari picks up a quick double onto Lingdu and Evil Lee, and that is much needed because VLG lost a couple early on. Remember, Deva got shot out of the air right at the beginning of this. A good grenade from Tanky, though, and a return from Lambu gets Summer. So Tanky versus Lambu 1v1, but it's going to be Tanky, the top fragger for MCG, getting the job done.
Yeah, Tank keeping this Lipovka alive. Dream alive, and 4AM, I think they want to consider about pushing. They're actually staying on top because going into Lipovka might actually put them back in hold in the next circle. not being aggressive as much this time. If it was the old copy, I think he would have won 100%.
I think you're absolutely right. he has really reined it in, and in fact, it's going to be crazy out there as the point man for 4AM, maybe just kind of in a more natural position based on how things kind of played out with the fighting. Genji making a very late rotation in from the north. Afrika and Pero once again squaring off as we saw towards the end of game number 1. Game number 2 going to be a little bit earlier here in phase number 2.
Yeah, EJ Dengche just getting some information where they could form a next line when the circle does shift towards the west or north, because other two members still near Milta Power just in case. So pretty good line setup and very wide setup from Afrika Freaks, knowing that Pero will not push onto them.
Well, it's pretty funny if you look at the southern part of this circle. It's the 3 of the 4 teams that were in the end of the game, and Entis is right above them, in fact. So, and OPGG there as well. So a lot of the teams that were in those final moments in game number 1 are right around each other once again here in game number 2, as Entis has the west side of the prison, OPGG on the east side. And here you can still see the split that G-Clef was just talking about for Afrika. I like what they're doing here because at least nobody's messing with you, so you might as well gobble up as much ground as you can.
If there can't be anyone else coming down from Milta Power, there's no way. So in knowing that Afrika Freaks just reaching out to the maximum and pushing slightly north one at a time, that's Dengche, just using the vehicle and keeping the line, knowing where Pero is going to come down and when they're going to come down. That's EJ's position. I think he also has a vehicle in case Pero actually decides to come east for some reason.
I want to see if Pio's going to grab the Groza. That's what I'm really kind of keen on
Pio
right
with
now.
a Groza.
Dude, he's fantastic with it. I think I see him in a car heading towards it right now. I find this interesting where Pio and Aqua 5 were, that they showed us there, G-Clef, over on that coast watching Lipovka a bit.
Yes, I think they are considering going in there and then making a long beachside rotation all the way near the water. So I think because they came all the way from north, not really having a best understanding around prison. So that could actually be one of the safer choices that they can do.
I just had a Mr. Burns moment there when Pio picked that up. I tapped my fingers together. Excellent. Excellent, Pio. Yes.
That's the evil laugh moment.
Let's see if he can do anything with it. At times, that grows is so fantastic late game, and it is a northern shift. So for now, Genji continues to have kind of the top 8 of this circle to themselves. Sun Sisters pushing up into the southwestern part of the mansion. 4AM doesn't really have to move, although they might want to think about trying to group together a bit at this point. It is that time when teams start getting a little desperate because the circle is kind of cutting off so much land that they need to come on in.
And yeah, prison sort of locks the southern side rotation down, as there are going to be a lot of teams staying near the rock. As K7 doing the rotation. Pero actually finding a pretty good path around these teams.
Wow, they picked a good time to do that. That was a gutsy rotation from Pero, but it might pay off if they can find something to work with here.
Yeah, right in front of prison, there are some spots that you can actually just park. You can't really use the vehicles after, but immediately once you go in, it's also right at the center of the next circle. So pretty good rotation from Pero. I was pretty sure they were going to lose at least one member, but because there were so many teams right in the middle, they actually did not shoot too much.
I would call that an Entis-esque rotation, where it doesn't look safe, but it ends up being that way. And they're right next to Entis. They both have very similar ideas of how to attack this situation. Not too surprising that teams would kind of watch what Entis was doing last week, try to mimic that. Regardless, I think that's, even if it wasn't necessarily that they learned, quote-unquote, what Entis was doing, it's still a good idea, and it reminds me of what Entis was thinking. Infantry in the meantime. Southwest, they're going to be coming in edge, as we've seen from time to time. Hold the phone. Sun Sisters now going to try to do what their sister team in Japan could not. FaZe already knocked. Leo comes around the side. He's the only one left here for GEX. Comes through, headshot of the poly. What in the world? Leo tries to get another tight angle. It's Tianba from the side, and Crazy Sam saves the day.
Leo almost did it with Tianba's help from long distance. Wow, that full squad almost went down against 2 men.
Just so we're clear, Luren is
at least 400 or 500.
This is 1, 2, 3. I think that's 550, maybe 600 meters away
at least 500 plus diagonal.
My trigonometry isn't so great anymore. I don't remember a squared plus b squared equals c squared or whatever. I'm not going to do the math, but
That's the equation, man.
Nice, I did it. Boom.
High school math.
Take that, middle school math. Mrs. McCardle is proud. Somewhere Mrs. McCardle is proud of me. All right, so Sun Sister is able to regroup here and get their members back up after an almost disastrous push.
Yeah, still has a full squad up and a pretty good spot right next to the mansion. So I think that Sun Sisters are going to be okay. And the fact that 4AM's got a big 2-2 split, that's exactly why Crazy was out in the bottom. Those are actually pretty wide open. The first, just flat floor, not really the best houses to keep. But just in case circle popping towards that side, 4AM's got a really good split.
So there is a bit of a contention here between MCG and Afrika. There's a crate that dropped in the middle of this, and I feel like both of them thought it might be free. And it's going to be some opening shots onto Hansia that sends him right to the beach. Put those sandals on, get that towel ready. And it's going to be a little bit interesting to see if he's able to get out of that, although it looks like MCG is trying to get their eyes more focused on the circle. K7 has the eastern or southeastern side, which is where Afrika might have to come in from.
Oh, Dengche just tossing himself right next to K7, and they know 100% has to come in with the reinforcement. Roa coming, but the MCG is holding the back of EJ and Hansia. So Freaks, they can't really directly run into K7 right now. I think he has to hold.
Yeah, Dengche's got to buy some time here. He cannot afford to get knocked if Afrika is going to try to push through this area. They might just wrap around it and kind of leave Dengche off on his own and say, good luck, bro. Hopefully you can get something done, as it isn't a great situation right now. I could see EJ is moving down to Hansia potentially for a pickup. Crossing paths are infantry and OPGG. Zhao Ying tries to get some shots from the side seat. Indigo's here. Kale's going to get the knock onto Alpaca in transition.
And 9 comes into the squad of Ventus saying, hi, I'm going to use your smoke for some time, guys. Leave me alone.
They haven't seen
Leave me alone.
They know he's here. They have no clue where. Okay, now Under sniffs him out underneath that smoke. 9 is trying to do everything he can to bamboozle Entis. It isn't good enough. 2 kills in the back for Entis.
Still, the war goes on. The 2 members with infantry did find a small hill, but from the northern side, there can be a lot of angle into infantry, so I don't think they're safe for too long. As soon as the members from Mansion, when they move out, they're going to have a good angle onto infantry. Both of their members, even though they have some vehicles. There's a fight on the other side onto the western side here near the Skyland.
All right, yeah, there's some grenades. Oh my God. 2 tap and 2 heart. The 2-0 coming back, getting it done on the OPGG. Now, Zen Nan has found and dusted Dengche. He is done. It's K7 looking to get out of this, but Roa is going to get some revenge. The knock on Buyohu. He's out in the open. He is surely going to go down here. Roa does finish the job.
I thought they were going to just basically leave Dengche and then make a 3-man rotation into the circle because they are still in that, not in the blue yet, but the blue is closing really soon. And K7 making that short rotation, making sure that they can still lock Afrika Freaks out of the circle.
Yeah, I actually agree. That's Savior. What I thought they were going to do, and they know Savior's here. They're rushing towards this. Hansi has a great angle right now. Isn't able to get the knock, but Savior is very hurt. That's going to allow him to just push up into this and finish the job. Him and EJ, a nice job there, pouncing onto a bit of a missed movement by Savior. Over to Genji, who I think too found the backside of MCG, who are stuck in the mansion.
Yeah, Genji, they made no sound. They basically crawled up to them saying, okay, let's just slowly go towards mansion, see how many teams are actually active here. They sort of know where Sun Sisters are, but did not know exactly MCG was in the mansion. But Genji still has a lot of hurdles to climb from that northern side.
Yeah, and I think Genji, maybe in the back of their minds, maybe consciously or subconsciously, remembers the PNC finish right around this area for them. Didn't go so well last time. Maybe their fortunes will be better coming through here. It's the exact same roster from PNC 2019 is Genji now, with Anonix on the team and Aqua 5 joining the squad. So right now, they're kind of poking and prodding at MCG, trying to figure out how they're going to maneuver around this.
This new circle is painful for so many teams because it barely catches on to edge of some compounds, but not exactly, where they will basically have to use a lot of their vehicle and then basically find a good stone to block one side and use a lot of smoke.
And the interesting thing about this, G-Clef, and sorry to cut you off there, the the top of the Sky Garden for Griffin is still in play, and I'm curious to see how that kind of affects the landscape of this fight.
Yes, they will be okay until the next circle, but I would imagine they would move out even before that because they have to take another spot right in front. There are a couple of spots where they can land with the vehicles where they will be safe, somewhat safe from the mansion, not exactly entirely safe.
Yeah, actually. Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no.
But EJ's got to cover from the side.
I was about to say that was looking pretty good, and then it all of a sudden was not. EJ trying to be the hero here again. Gets the knock on to Ming Ming, and it's going to be the finish on to Zhao K. New Happy has Gao left. He gets some good shots in with that M16. It's not the gun you're used to seeing in the hands of these players, but the blue is here on top of EJ. He was already on top of this with the first aid kit, but he has to go down the hill. There's nowhere to go. Gao has him completely blockaded. He's going to have to win a quick fight. Isn't able to do it. New Happy comes through, but they are really hurting because of it.
And still has to go in and run, look for one res, and then basically just make a smoke chain into that circle as Pero's got a lockdown on New Happy. I don't think they're going to last too long as the fight on near mansion still stays.
Yeah, you can see 4 AM now trying to inch closer to all this action that's going on in the mansion. I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in the mansion if you include Juanita from Griffin, who took the southwestern 2-story for himself and kind of established a bit of a foothold for Griffin. And now they have some hills to work with out to their south.
And that's exactly the spot they had. They had to move into the spot, or else Tiamba was actually going to approach into them, as they still had some vehicles open. It's going to be about infantry, how long they can actually survive in there. As soon as mentioned shift is there away from with the next circle.
There is this spot that you can hold on to. I've seen, actually, I remember Entus doing this one time this year, right where infantry is. You can hold on. You're only going to come out of it usually with 1 or 2, but you can make it work for a time. And eventually, though, the walls do close in around you. But for Entus, they are going to have the southeast infantry in the middle. Still a few compounds of the mansion in, and it's going to be a forward fight for Pero, New Happy, and Tianba on the south.
Yep, and 4 AM, because the eastern side is still pretty much open, as long as they can block some shots from Pero, I think they can be safe for the next circle. But it's going to be about mansion here for the next phase, as a lot of the teams has to move out, force them out into Griffin's side, where they got 1 control, and a full squad moving into 1 compound right now with the res.
Absolutely. All right, this one's going to get crazy right about in a couple of seconds here as team starts making their move. It's going to be Tianba encroaching onto infantry territory first. Pio gets taken down by Tanky. They're going to set up the vehicle right next to him, try to get that res going. Pio so crucial with that Groza coming into the late game situations, and even if you can't get the res, you want to get that Groza in somebody's hands, because that is a powerful, powerful gun. Crazy Sam picks up a knock on a Tanky. So Sun Sister still 4 up, still looking like this might be their moment to shine.
Tianba makes a big push. Infantry gets the knock, but Under steals the kill again, and understanding that infantry, Zhao Yan can't really stand too long. And Sungjiang just steps over the line. Pero approaching from that eastern side. That's a big push.
Yeah, Entus isn't able to hold on to this too well. There's a bit of a dip here, so Pero learning again from what Entus did yesterday to Afrika, throwing the throwables inside of these ditches, trying to get the damage done and seeing if they can push on top of it. They've got 1 down, but overextending on top of that rock is Mill. Godvy's going to be thirsty and picking that drink up for himself.
And Pero, they have to fight against Entus. They took the leading shot first, but 4 AM also approaches them. This is deadly. And you have Jiao on your back, so Pero, I don't think they're going to survive too long. As Morchisoko Gaming, actually, Sun Sisters.
Sun Sisters,
coming out hot from Mention.
You love to see it. They've got Griffin in front of them now. It's going to be, they can hang out on the bottom of that fence, and there's a little bit of the southwestern building inside of the fence still available for Sun Sisters, so they can wait. But after that, it's going to be a little bit tricky for them, of course, and Griffin has basically all moved in to the 2-story on the southwestern side. There's the hill here that Griffin abandoned. Gen G decides to set up shop.
As they do, if Griffin looks into Gen G, there can be some easy shots. I think Gen G will still have a lot of resources to block that from happening. Kale still alive, and still left with 2 men now, with Kale knocked right in the middle. I think Longscar is basically going for that kill, saying, okay, I'm the last one. I can't stay for too long. Let's just try to kill this knock point?
Yeah, Kale trying to be the front man. He's done it great so far this tournament for Entis, being that front liner for them, gathering the information in these close quarters battles and relaying it to his teammates, but he gets knocked in transition there. And continuing to put down the fire is Crazy Sam, getting a knock and a finish onto Griffin, but now it's Loki from Gen G getting involved. 4 a.m., oh my god, 3 down here. It's just Faye left. He has nothing but a sliver of health.
Yep, but still they were able to push against some men with some help from Gen G and 4 a.m. They can get all the res. I think they can actually push onto Griffin and get that victory into the next circle.
Tianba just kind of poking the stick into the Gen G's backside there, and then they back right off knowing that they can't hang out for too long because of the circle. Now Faye is knocked. Sun's sister does go down to Griffin. It was a tough movement to get out of there. It's so hard to bop a team out of a building like that, and Yao, by the way, still alive here.
Still just proning after seeing this much. He's keeping Pero alive. He can grab that right now. After having FCD out in front alone, the rest of the squad does not know that Kiao has a sight on them.
Oh, Under's got to be careful. He's the last one alive here for Entis. He cannot afford to go down just yet. Wants to see if he can buy some more time, some more placement points for our leaders. Gen G crashes on in towards 4 a.m. They have nothing but the Dacia and the Rock for cover. That first grenade going to come up short. Can the return throwables come in? They get some good damage on the Godby, but no knocks yet. Juanita's been knocked. Griffin just gets ripped apart by Gen G and 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's exactly why Gen G opened up the angle. Not for 4 a.m, but for Gen G. Loki gets knocked down by Forever, though they're approaching into him. And Pero takes a good clean of Happy for now.
Sorry, good grenade by Crazy there on the Aqua 5, but the finish is stolen by Mings here. And now 4 a.m. stuck behind Uaz as they're going for the tires. Pio pops around with the Groza. Doesn't get a knock, though. Forever is knocked by Mings here as Crazy and Godby try to hold on. Smoke's coming down. They're going to have to get moving because the circle is right there with them.
As there's another knock there. Tiampa also getting a touch from the side now. They know that long skirt's out in the middle somewhere. And Tiamba, but taking care of the rest before they actually move into the circle.
I want to keep my eyes on the two Soul Survivors, Pio and... Forget it. Never mind. Sorry. Let's just erase that one from our memories as Longsker is out as our inventory, but Pio's still alive for Gen G. 3 up for Pero and Tianba as we are down to our final 3. Good shooting from XDD. He's going to get Mings to open that fight up, and Pero might just win 3 in a row here.
What? Having this much of an angle and much more cover now with just 1 man alive from Gen G, Pio and M200 from Tiamba. Pero winning 3 chicken dinners in a row would be amazing. They were supposed to be done by 4 a.m. The push from Mentos, they were sandwiched, but they kept that position somehow and into the final circle now.
All right, Pio, I don't know. I think he has to get in front of those rocks to get into the next circle. I can't tell for sure. When I look down at the mini-map, it looks like he's skirting the edge just enough. And M200 has decided to prone. He's in the circle, and he is not going to reveal himself. He wants to see if he can at least get the second place. Meanwhile, Pero trying to get all the information on where everybody is.
Yeah, they've been pushing from that prison side with an amazing rotation. M200 just waiting for the one sweet headshot and then right into body, as I think Pio still has level 3.
It looks like that is still going for him. He's taken a bit of damage, but we don't get to see it just yet in his utility as we're focusing on M200, who has the angle to see Pio. I don't think Pio quite knows exactly where M200 is. I think he might sense that somebody's there with that vehicle flipped over and exploded. Meanwhile, Pero has grouped up, and they're just going to try to sweep this out from a a clockwise flow.
As Pero gathered up in a point now that they can be grabbed back by any of these 2 members left alive. Like the choice, because they forced them to fight, look for that second place. That's exactly what Gen G and Tiamba is going for. Pero just has to clean up 1 right after Pio did spot. Basically the squad of Pero. And has a good idea that M200 is taken care of immediately. Pio, what a shot.
All right, let's see if he's got a 1v3 at him. The superstar from Korea for the black and gold. He takes some damage in the initial exchange. He has a Groza. He's hurt again. They've got good flanks. They're surrounding him. I think it's all she wrote.
This is too hard.
Does do it. It is going to be a 3-peat for Petrichor Road. Back-to-back today. And if you go back to yesterday, they won the last game. These guys are absolutely racing up the leaderboard.
X XDD. The pushing force of the entire squad. Of course, a lot more kills from Milk coming in from Pero, but XDD pushed onto so many different squads without going down and then not overextending too much. Just got few damage in with no knock, but retreated it back into the full squad, making sure they would buy that much space and force the other teams back so they